Hello. I'm driving this time, so I'm not gonna make eye contact with the camera. But I'm gonna make this one brief. The FIFA, the World Cup in Qatar takes off today. It gets inaugurated today, and I'm. Let me just cut to the chase. I'm not gonna be watching it. I do enjoy watching soccer. It's my favorite sport in the world. My first World Cup that I watched and very much enjoyed was Francia 98, 1998 World Cup in France, and you know how it's. I normally kind of stopped following soccer so closely, like more than a decade ago. But normally World Cup, the main event, I do not miss that because I still like soccer, and all the best talent every 4 years in World Cup events, they get together and display their best skills. And anyways, so I'm not gonna watch it this time. Pretty much it's because I'm principle. The host country, Qatar, is a dictatorship, a theocratic, authoritarian government, and I know too much about this World Cup. This host country, which is, I think it's worse than the average ones that I've seen. I mean, I've seen France hosted, Germany host the World Cup. I didn't see the '94 U.S. World Cup. I was too young and just not following soccer at that time. But yeah, France, Tokyo, Japan. I think even South Africa. I mean, there's still problems with all these things. Like there's a lot of corruption in FIFA, and I don't know why is it deemed a non-profit. They're getting rich over there, the people running that organization. But anyways, the Brazil one, despite knowing this one thing, I think I made a post about this years ago. Pretty much, I said that FIFA should be paying their they should be paying their own fucking FIFA, World Cup events, because if I'm recalling this correctly, what happens is whatever country puts in a bid to be the host country for the World Cup, which happens every 4 years. If you didn't know, if you don't follow World Cup soccer that closely, so the country puts in a bid, and whatever, if they get the bid, they get to host the World Cup. But at least this is what happened in Brazil. Like 2 or 3 new stadiums got built in Brazil exclusively just to have the World Cup event there, and to host the World Cup games. And excuse me, they the World Cup events, the country, like the government of those countries, they pay for the events. In Brazil, I think they spent $11 billion of the people's funds that they could have used on their own people, on whatever services, whether it be schools or healthcare, whatever, $11 billion to build the stadiums and whatnot, and have the events, and just to hold the whole event. And so that happened, and so FIFA gets to have their event there in Brazil, and whatever money they make, I think FIFA gets to keep it, or something like that, or at least most of it, like 90% of it or something. So you can go ahead and fact check me on that. Don't take my word completely for it, but if I'm recalling it correctly, yeah, they made Brazil pay to make the make the country look pretty, I guess, for the event, and build these new stadiums that don't even get used anymore. They're like dilapidated. Like I think they just had the freaking World Cup there, had those few games, those few World Cup games in the stadiums, and then they never been used ever since, or they barely get used at all. So it was like a waste of money, pretty much. And so Brazil, the government of Brazil spends all this money there, and freaking and whatever money they made, ticket sales and sponsorships, yada yada yada, FIFA gets to keep most of it, or all of it. I'm not even sure, but yeah. So that alone kind of like, it didn't get me angry enough, or just upset enough to avoid watching the World Cup or boycott the World Cup, however you want to look at it. That alone, like, that's just corruption, and I'm like, FIFA, you should pay for your own damn events if you get to keep all the money in the first place. If it was like, oh, you spend the money making everything and you get to keep most of it, 90% of it or something, of whatever money we make in that month, because the World Cup is like a month long, more or less, and that'd be different. But no, you pay for it and we keep any of the profits, any of the sales. So, or 90% of the sales, whatever, the majority. So that alone, I'm like, man, that is just corrupt as fuck. And then I find out how they freaking pick the countries, to host the next World Cup. And it's just a lot of corruption. I mean, members vote on it. I think it's like 32 members or something. They vote on it and to see, and they pick which country to go to next. And so they pick Qatar for this year. Qatar, some people say Qatar, others call it Qatar. I prefer Qatar. Well, Qatar has got the bid to host the World Cup, and 32 members voted on it, and I heard that 16 out of the 32, they were bribed, like, with money or whatever, probably money. So it's a corrupt process, and so yeah, not cool, man. It's that's just the least freaking egregious part of the story of how Qatar became the host. And I think like 6,000, like more than 6,000 laborers died in Qatar because they weren't being treated properly. It's hot as hell in Qatar. From what I hear, it's like 120 degrees on a sunny day, and I guess 90 on a good day or something. But I guess it's incredibly hot over there, and a lot of the workers, they weren't even properly hydrated. A lot of them died from cardiac arrest or heart attacks and stuff like that. They were migrant workers, of course. And so Qatar just treats them like shit. And a lot of them died on their watch trying to build these new stadiums. So it's like these stadiums are built with blood, and I just know too much about this World Cup event, so I won't be watching it. Like I said, I enjoy watching the World Cup event, especially when my teams play. Being Mexico or the U.S. But I just can't. I'm not gonna watch it, and so I'm gonna avoid it at every turn I can. I'll probably, of course, I'll find out eventually. I'll know the scoreboard and all that, but I'm not gonna sit down and watch and enjoy the game, because I just can't. In good conscience, it's just a matter of principle for me, and this time around, and me being a laborer myself. You know, somebody that works outside building things and just upkeeping new buildings and stuff like that. I cannot imagine being treated like that by my employer. I don't, and I mean, we have freaking labor issues, you know, big bosses being abusive to the workers here in the U.S. too, but there's no way there's freaking, it's Qatar bad level. No way. So it's just a new low for me, and I just can't watch it. Not to mention wage theft. A lot of the migrant workers were complaining that they weren't getting paid for building in these stadiums, and Qatar fucking they just deported those people. Like they didn't even listen to their grievances or anything. They just that's what a dictator sounds like to me, and that's what a dictatorship is really. They're a dictatorship country, and that you cannot allow people to speak bad of the country if they're visiting or stuff like that. Like they're not allowed. People are not allowed to express whatever they don't like about Qatar while they're there, and I'll probably, obviously, I'll be surprised if this is not the case, but they're probably not allowed to badmouth the government, the Qatar government either. So this too corrupt, too much blood this time, and I don't know if this happened in other host countries before, but yeah, this is the lowest of the lowest that the FIFA can go to host this corrupt government dictatorship, and they shouldn't. FIFA should not be should not put dictatorships on the list or for consideration to host World Cups. Russia World Cup, I heard Vladimir Putin freaking mowed down an entire town, like a whole city or something, just to build a new stadium there. So yes, that's like, that's bad too. But no, yeah, it's just the whole more than 6,000 laborers dead while building your damn stadiums just so we can enjoy soccer. Nah, man, that's just a price too high to pay for me as a person who loves watching soccer, who really likes watching the World Cups. I can't watch this one. It's too corrupt, too bloody, too slimy. Just nah. Good luck to the teams that participate. You shouldn't participate, but good luck to you, and best of luck to Mexico and the U.S. But yeah, this is too much. The correct thing to do would be to not play in Qatar. Just fucking, let's just not have a World Cup. But that's not gonna happen. So okay.